Final fight took place in New York's Madison Square Garden was in 1986 when James Bone Crusher Smith met terrible Tim Witherspoon. The last time, that is, until tonight, when new heavyweight champion Riddick Bowe came back to his hometown to make his first title defense against 34-year-old opponent Michael Dokes. You are about to see why the crowd at Madison Square Garden felt that it did not get its money's worth when it came to the Bowe-Dokes heavyweight championship fight. There's the crowd, and of course they were notified of Arthur Ashe's death. A final 10 count given by the bellkeeper at ringside. Riddick Bowe had Ashe on his mind, and then he had Dokes on his mind all over Michael Dokes early. Dokes given the standing 8. A big flurry here. Dokes defenseless. Strong right hand. No chance for Michael Dokes. He's out on his feet. Dokes said after the fight, "I never went down. I should have been given a chance." Michael, the referee did you a favor. You're 34 years old, you're overweight, you're washed up, and sayonara. Riddick Bowe remains the heavyweight championship of the world, heavyweight champion of the world by winning the championship. He's now 33-0, 28 KOs. After the fight, he also said Lennox Lewis can wait a long time before he ever get a chance at his belt. Dokes' record falls to 54-2. Charlie Steiner and Al Bernstein were eyewitnesses to the Bowe-Dokes battle at the Garden, so let's join them now for a post-fight report.
Well, Tom, I think you're a little bit harsh on Michael Dokes. I think perhaps the harshness may be directed at the referee, Al Bernstein, Joe Santapia, who stopped the fight, I think, to be fair, or to be charitable, a bit early.
Yeah, there's no question that Riddick Bowe would have won this fight. Yeah. He hurt Michael Dokes early, hurt him often. But Joe Santapia made two serious mistakes in this fight. First, he called it a knockdown, but he really never finished his count during the first knockdown when Dokes was down. And then secondly, he had at his disposal a standing 8 count. The reason it's there is when a fighter is in trouble, you can call it to see how much he's hurt. You can go in and ask a fighter things. You can figure out whether he's hurt. And as Dokes said, he was never asked a single question. Would Riddick Bowe have won? Yes. Did Joe Santapia do a poor job of officiating? Absolutely.
I don't think there's any question about that. Wally Matthews talked to the referee immediately after the fight and asked him some pointed questions.
When he first got hit, and he was going down, but the ropes held him up, so that was a knockdown, considered a knockdown. The ropes hold you up, it's still considered a knockdown, so that's why I gave him the count of 8. It wasn't a standing knockdown, it was a knockdown. He got up and he was floundering around. He got hit with another nice left hook, which put him on Queer Street. And you can see he had no defense anymore. His hands were down, he was just floundering, he was getting hit. And even if you want to use the standing 8 count, it was unnecessary. The man was hurt. I stopped it, and as you see, as I stopped it, he still was.
What did he say to you after you stopped it?
Mumbled something, I really couldn't make it out.
Did you ever ask him if he was okay or if he could continue?
Yeah, yeah, he looked at me like a little bewildered. He said, yeah, you know. But no, you can see that the legs were wobbly. He had no coordination.
So, Joe Santapia, the referee, was as much the story tonight as Michael Dokes or Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe, for the moment, is having his news conference after the one-round TKO, Al.
Yeah, and during that first round, we need to make the point that Michael Dokes was the opponent because, number one, they thought it could hurt him, and number two, because they knew he would be active but probably wouldn't hurt Riddick Bowe. What they probably didn't count on, in truth, was hurting Bowe that early, and that's why hurting Dokes that early, and that's why this fight was such a quick fight. Michael Dokes did what everybody does in the first round, though Riddick Bowe said he didn't. He whacked Bowe with a bunch of left hooks, but they were not more powerful enough to hurt Bowe.
Bowe was supposed to fight Ray Mercer in May, but a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. Ray Mercer lost a unanimous decision to a journeyman named Jesse Ferguson. So now Riddick Bowe's next opponent could be anybody, up to and including Evander Holyfield, who now, of course, is promoted by MC Hammer. We'll have more on tonight's fight in reaction as a result of the one-round TKO by Riddick Bowe over Michael Dokes a bit later on SportsCenter. We send it back there now. Gentlemen. Indeed, some controversy here at Madison Square Garden. The fight stopped what seemed to be rather prematurely by Joe Santapia, the referee, who is, in fact, refereeing his 51st World Championship fight tonight. But there was indeed a good deal of controversy in the way he stopped it at 2 minutes and 18 seconds of the first round. Michael Dokes clearly upset with the decision to stop the fight. We got his reaction.
Did you feel that you could have continued at that point?
Yes, I do.
What happened in the fight that went wrong? What is it that you wanted to do that you were not able to do?
I didn't get a chance to do anything.
Were you hurt when you were knocked into the ropes earlier in the fight?
I don't think I was hurt. I think I was more pushed. He did catch me with a good right hand, sure. And I admit that. But I was, as well as being hit, I was pushed back. and I regained my balance. I did retaliate with a left hook and catch him with it if you watch the film.
So did you protest to the referee? You really haven't told me yet what you said to him.
We finished.
Riddick, a lot of people said that this fight would be a mismatch, and it seems to have turned out that way. Did you expect more out of Michael Dokes here tonight?
Well, I knew Michael Dokes had a lot of experience, and I said from the beginning that I wouldn't go out there and play with Michael Dokes. I was going to be serious with him and try to take his head off.
Did you think that the fight was stopped at the right time?
Oh, I thought the fight should have been stopped prior to that. I thought he took a barrage of punches, and, you know, I want to win. I ain't want to kill a guy.
Now, the crowd seems to have been unhappy with either the result of the fight or the stoppage. What was your reaction to hearing all those boos?
Well, it's unfortunate we can't make everybody happy, but I know the people of New York, they still love me. I think they booed that the referee stopped the fight, but again, a lot of times people don't know the aspects of boxing.
Al, I think it's kind of clear that the outcome of the fight was really never in doubt. The only decision, really, or only controversy is how and when it was stopped.
Well, and the thing that I don't like about those kinds of situations when officials in any sport, and referees in boxing, which is happening increasingly more often lately, what I don't like about it is it takes away from performances. For instance, Riddick Bowe performed very well tonight. Would have likely won in any case in the second or third round, or maybe later in that first round. And what this controversy does is it kind of clouds it, but it does something else, Charlie. Because this was such a quick stoppage and this fight ended quickly, I think it's going to have some ramifications for the future and who we see Riddick Bowe in next.
We may see Riddick Bowe in with Evander Holyfield because Holyfield's new promoter, MC Hammer, is on the scene. In fact, at the post-fight news conference now, sharing the stage with Rock Newman, is the aforementioned MC Hammer. So Rock and a Hammer all together in one stage here only at Madison Square Garden. We'll be back with more live coverage of the Riddick Bowe one-round TKO of Michael Dokes, including a live interview with the heavyweight champion of the world as our coverage continues here from Madison Square Garden. For now, let's throw it back to SportsCenter. Gentlemen.
City's Madison Square Garden tonight. The winner and still heavyweight champion of the world is Riddick Bowe, and he's standing by with our Charlie Steiner live in New York City. Charlie?
Well, Tom, Riddick Bowe now has a worldwide trip that will begin next week. He'll be meeting with Nelson Mandela in South Africa and then on to Somalia. He'll be meeting with the Pope. Then when he gets home, he'll have a bevy of potential opponents at his beck and call. We talked to Rock Newman, his manager, about who may be on that very short list.
I just got a call from MC Hammer. He is very much interested in trying to get Evander Holyfield back in the ring with Riddick Bowe. George Foreman's at ringside whispering in my ear. Tommy Morrison and Bill Caton are out there. We think that there are several opportunities for us now. We will not miss a step with the fallout of Ray Mercer.
Well, what is your gut feeling about who you would prefer for Bowe to fight next?
Frank Bruno.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. We are live with the heavyweight champion of the world, who I gather is breathing at least a little bit sigh of relief. It's the first title defense, and you did it at home, and certainly you did not embarrass yourself. It was an impressive performance.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well, what little there was of it. Let me, before we talk about what the fight tonight, let's talk about what's next, and who, in your own mind, would you like to fight the most next?
Well, to be honest with you, I would love to fight Lennox Lewis. I want to fight Lennox so bad, I'm willing to go to England and fight him in his mother's backyard.
But?
Until he denounces the WBC, that fight will not take place. And it's unfortunate because I think he's depriving the British people of having a real champion and the American people.
Depriving the people, okay, is one thing, but denouncing the WBC, why is that so important to you, and why would that be a deal breaker?
Because the WBC is a crooked organization, and to fight for that organization would be fighting, for crooked people.
All right, so if he is not going to denounce the title, and we don't expect that to happen anytime soon, who next? Is Evander Holyfield the most likely candidate?
Well, let me say this. I think that Evander Holyfield is the type of guy who will always bring the best out of me, and I would welcome that challenge. I think Evander would deserve a rematch.
Riddick, do you think that Evander would have learned anything from your first fight? In other words, I mean, of course, there's only so much you can do, but there were portions in that fight, obviously, where he performed well, because there were times when he did well. But then the next question is, did you learn from it? Would you actually do better against Holyfield the next time?
I think so. I think now that the fight is, over with and we can have the opportunity to look at the tapes, I think I will be better for that fight, and each time the outcome will be the same.
Were you at all surprised by the listless performance by Ray Mercer tonight? That kind of blew all the plans out of the water.
Well, that just goes to show you that these guys that don't have anything, they're out to prove something, and you can't take anybody lightly. Ray Mercer weighed 236 pounds. He's only 6 feet tall. That was too much for him to carry around, and Fergie, what's his name?
Jesse Ferguson.
Jesse Ferguson outgutted him and outlasted him because
Fergie
he was carrying
is
too
the
much.
princess over in England who you may be visiting.
You may see her.
Well, I knew the name sounded familiar.
You, Riddick, the things that are becoming... Charlie talked about your first title defense. Fighting here in the Garden was kind of emotional for you in a way. Not that Michael Dokes would cause them, but was there any apprehension or nerves in your stomach because of the Garden coming home?
I think very much because, you know, you want to look good in front of your hometown crowd. It's always been a dream, and you want everything to go perfect. And so I guess, you know, you're nervous about things screwing up.
Well, congratulations, champion, and bon voyage on your trip around the world.
Thank you.
Heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe. And that's going to do it for our live coverage from Madison Square Garden, where Riddick Bowe successfully defended his title for the first time with a TKO of Michael Dokes at 2 minutes and 18 seconds of the first round. That's going to do it from here. Sports Center continues in just a minute.
He's brewing. The takeout food is coming. They hope to have a deal done by breakfast. What could be an all-night negotiating session began about 2 hours ago in New York. The goal, to unite the heavyweight championship with a fight between Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. After the two sides combined to shoot down 4 proposals yesterday, they're back at it. Sources tell us the most likely scenario is a 60-40 split of the purse, $15 million to Bowe, $10 million to Lewis, but as they say, it's under negotiation.
Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe still have not agreed on a fight to unify the heavyweight boxing championship. And with that in mind, yesterday, Lewis had someone in a chicken suit wearing a Bowe sign show up to talk about a potential next opponent for Bowe.
I'll be fighting Macaulay Culkin. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to help politicians in Washington hire legal babysitters.
Borrowing a few tactics from the Wrestling Federation, I believe, they have agreed that they're going to split a $32 million purse when they do fight. They just haven't decided how that will be split up.
Okay, tough question there. Little showbiz.
Heavyweight champion Riddick Bowe's emulation of Muhammad Ali continues outside the ring. Bowe isn't about to inspire comparisons with the greatest, but he is showing a sensitivity to matters which matter more than boxing, as his hero did. Today, Bowe was in South Africa, having been invited there by the African National Congress. Jimmy Roberts was with him.
The minute he arrived, Big Daddy was big news, a front-page story, and more.
He provides an inspiration to people that the liberation movement here has the support of the international community.
I want to thank you all for having me. It's my honor to be here. I believe in freedom for everyone.
Thursday night, the champ put his money where his mouth is, donating the $50,000 rights fee South African TV paid for his last fight to the ANC's National Sports Committee. But to this country, Bowe represents more than just a benefactor.
You see, we all know that Riddick Bowe also comes from the ghettos of the United States. And if a man like him can make it to the highest rank in boxing, so can the other boys in the township emulate him.
But that won't be easy. This is the CWJ Boxing Club in Soweto. 14 fighters share what little equipment there is. That does not include boxing gloves. The club doesn't own a single pair. Obviously, the boxing facilities here at the CW Gym in Soweto leave something to be desired. But that's not where it ends. This is the locker room. Come take a look. No running water. Not in the sink. Not in the urinal. And not in the shower. Matter of fact, they haven't had any running water here at this facility in more than a year. We won't show you what the toilet looks like. There's no electricity either, so sometimes Koligo Midi, a former South African lightweight national champion, has had to train by candlelight.
A boxer who trains in town, a white boxer who trains in town, is the same guy like me. I mean, he's just a boxer. If they could get all the equipment that they need in their gyms, why can't we? What is the problem with us?
It's because you're black.
I say so. It's because of the color of my skin.
Soweto is a place of so little hope, in need of so much, especially heroes. And Friday afternoon, that's just what they got. It was joyous mayhem. It was also short-lived. When a black gang attacked a black driver and set his car on fire, it brought out a familiar sight in this area plagued by crime. But the champ was nonplussed. He moved on to an impromptu clinic, visited a boxing club, which also doubles as a family home, and then toured a nearby neighborhood.
I think everybody in America should have the opportunity to come here to South Africa, to Soweto, and see how things are. They are truly bad.
Bowe, too, has had it bad in his lifetime. He was raised poor, one of 13 children. But on this day in Soweto, he says he learned just how lucky he was. Reporting from South Africa, I'm Jimmy Roberts, ESPN.
The world champion, Riddick Bowe's dinner plans tomorrow night include Nelson Mandela. And next week, the heavyweight champion has an audience with the Pope.
Bowe Holyfield 2 coming soon, but not necessarily next. From Nairobi, Kenya, where he is on a mission to raise funds for refugee camps there, heavyweight champion Riddick Bowe says his manager, Rock Newman, is currently working out details of a rematch with Evander Holyfield, which the champ adds might be his next title defense. But from Camp Holyfield, which lost the title to Bowe on points last November, comes word that there are no details to be worked out. Dan Duba says money terms of a rematch were included in the contract for the first bout. All Newman and Bowe have to say is yes or no.